this year on tour. 9th. Frohoff and Heiger, after that wonderful finish a couple of weeks ago, take a 9th here. 3rd, Blanton and Fenoy. Lewis and Swadek just can't get to the mountaintop, it seems, and they gave it a go and just barely lost to Steffes and Whitmarsh, and you see the 5th place finishers. Now the Speedo Tour has been March, Jose Loiola, Manuel Rego. The finals, the Sunkist AVP Open Del Mar. Here's my horse getting ready to go, but let's get center court right here. We're just moments away. And for a quick update on what's up, Craig Hummer on the stand.
Thanks, Billy. Well, I tell you what, there's 2 injuries to pay attention to today. The first is Mike Whitmarsh. If you've been following the tour, you know that he's had trouble with one of his hands. He says it's fine. The injury is healed. He's close to 100%. The other injury, we saw this a little bit in our second semifinal, and that was Jose Loiola's back. He got treatment on it before the final. He said to me, I'm fine, 100%, no excuses. Back to you.
Thank you, my man. Little breeze kicking up. There will be a good and bad side here in our stadium at the fairgrounds. What do you expect, Mike Dodd? Because obviously 4 great players going at it. What will be your key for this match?
Well, I think the key that Craig said is there's no excuses. You've got injured players. It's been a long, tough season. There you see Whitty's mom there. Great support all year round. Mike Whitmarsh has family members in every city. But there are no excuses. It's a long, tough season. You get little aches, little pain. Whitty's got a banged up thumb. He's had it for a long time. He's been dealing with it week in and week out. Loiola's got a little bit of a stiff back. But once you get to the finals, you got to forget all that stuff. You got to come out and play. And it's the players that can put the pain behind them, not focus on their injuries or their problems, but focus on the game that usually come out on top.
Kent Steffes will serve it up on the good side. Emmanuel and Loiola, a touch and an ace immediately for Kent Steffes, 1-0. We are going 1 game to 15. Clock, our Swatch clock, starting at 8 minutes. Steffes and Whitty in his own backyard. A lot of supporters here in the San Diego area. Turn, and Steffes is right there. Could be a quick 2-0 advantage, but he waffled that one out of bounds.
Big break there for Loiola Manuel. You are not going to see Kent Steffes on a perfect set in transition hit that ball out of bounds, and there's a good shot of Kent right there. He knows he let one get away, but a good start for Whitmarsh Steffes. A nice ace with the wind at his back, then coming up with a good defensive play. That's how Whitmarsh and Steffes want to get off to this match.
Steffes and Loiola, of course, former partners, and they played very, very well, to say the least, together. Side out now for Whitty.
And that was a tough jump serve by Emmanuel Steffes, stepping to his left, taking that ball in the middle that he and Whitmarsh have had a lot of difficulty communicating that middle ball for a great side out.
Emmanuel up over Steffes. Some good anticipation early in this one, finds open sand. So great reads by Kent Steffes in coordination and in conjunction with Whitty's huge block.
Well, Kent just looks like he's in a rhythm right now. He's into the mind of Emmanuel. He's making the right moves. And you know he's not going to blow 2 transition opportunities in a row. And sure enough, he just cups the ball down the line for point number 2.
Emmanuel, cut shot there and a side out. And Jose Loiola will serve it up. These 2 won back at Seal Beach in that overtime thriller over Lewis and Swadek. And they also beat Lopes and Neto back in Cleveland. Last week they took a second. Big bomb, Steffes. That's good pass. Set a little bit off that time by Whitty. Gives them an opportunity, and point scored by Emmanuel.
And that's just a nice set by Loiola in transition. Emmanuel's going to get the soft block, and there Loiola just scoops it right on top for him. Good smooth point for Brazil.
Jose again, and that's going to be long by 4 or 5 feet. And gold medal winner Kent Steffes will go back and serve. There was no event in the San Diego area last year. A couple of years ago, though, it was Scott Akatubby and Brian Lewis beating Adam Johnson and Jose Loiola in the AVP Open in San Diego in '96. Right down the middle. I got it. You take it. And a little bit of a jawing out session between Emmanuel and Loiola ensued.
And I tell you, Steffes is feeling it right now. He's got a nice little breeze behind him. Not easy to get off a good jump serve. He's already served 2 aces from the bad side.
3 points, 2 on aces. Steffes cranks it again. 3-1.
Rego.
Steffes is right there. Read him like a comic book. And that's 2 times now that Kent Steffes has missed perfect opportunities.
And there you see Kent go to the hat grab. That only happens with the ultimate frustration. He was right there on Loiola, just dug it straight up. Whitmarsh gives him a perfect set, and there he hits his second ball out in transition.
Now with a couple of early breaks, let's see if Loiola and Emmanuel can take advantage of it. Big pound? No.
Loiola with a little bit of a net on the block. Side out to Whitmarsh and Steffes.
Although it was an awesome dig by Emmanuel on a rocket from Kent Steffes. Here's your former partner, Mike Whitmarsh. Won a silver medal, of course, in Atlanta. And hope you were with us just a few moments ago for our halftime segment with Whitty and his mom. Jose, you got to get really high to go up and over Whitmarsh.
The Brazilian bomber.
And there aren't too many players in the world that get up as high as Emmanuel and Loiola. Just great legs, great jumping, great athletes.
Jose Loiola. This is the $50,000 Sun-Kissed Open in San Diego. Next week, the Tour Championships in Muskegon. That's a pretty good set there by Kent. Had to push it up after a tough serve that Whitty almost mishandled.
You're right, Billy. Whitmarsh getting a little handcuffed on that serve gives Steffes a high, spinny ball that's very difficult to set. Steffes takes the spin off, gives Whitmarsh a perfect set to swing at, and he bangs off the block out of bounds.
Emmanuel still almost got the one wing on it. Steffes with the service error. And Emmanuel Rego, one of the top young talents in the world, poised and ready to go. 88 degrees at game time. Feels much warmer down on the sand.
We got a couple of missed serves there. If you're an AVP fan or volleyball fan, you got to love the last 2 weekends. Karai, Johnson, Loiola, Manuel, Steffes, Whitmarsh, all the biggest names in beach volleyball. And there's Whitty doing what he does best.
That's the biggest block in beach volleyball right there. Mike Whitmarsh, he says, I don't know what I'm doing. I just go up and I look for the ball and I try to slam it right back at him, just like he did there. Back to Del Mar after that. Back MD in the A-team. Back here in Del Mar, California, as we bring it to you coast to coast on Fox Sports Net, the next to last tournament of the season. And Jose Loiola with that side out will be back to serve to Steffes and Whitmarsh.
Interesting, Whitmarsh and Steffes jumping off to a 4-1 lead, and it could have easily been 5-0 or even more with a couple of points squandered. And Brazil is in trouble right now. They just don't look like themselves out there. They don't have the same fire. I think that little back injury to Jose Loiola might be affecting him more than was reported at the beginning of the match.
And maybe even the little extra rest for Steffes and Whitmarsh, who played a lot earlier today in this heat. Bad set, very tight, and Whitty could not take advantage. That was a nice little joust and play that time by Emmanuel, because Jose put him right on top and nearly over.
I tell you, that was a tight call. It's a difficult game to officiate, and it looked to me like Emmanuel might have netted on that play. He pushed the ball into the Whitmarsh block. Referee Greg Krause says, no harm, no foul, keep playing, and not a lot of argument from Whitmarsh.
Ticky-tack. Yeah. Tough serve, and Whitty goes all the way in to the other side, trying to dig that one. Got a little wet that time. Good serve, though. Kent with some problems, and that's the second point. So Loiola and Emmanuel Rego will serve again. Right next to him. Whitty will have to take this back set. Turn it, Emmanuel. Whitmarsh again. A little more power that time off of Loyola's block attempt.
Mike Whitmarsh with a nice little transition on the right-hand side to save the point. And Emmanuel and Loiola again with a good point scoring opportunity. Loiola just not pressing over in time on that Whitmarsh attempt.
Whitty with the floater. Emmanuel took a little off that one. You don't have to pound every time. Pace is also a name of the game, and the side out, Loiola will take control.
And despite all the Ken Steffes defense and ace serves, Brazil down by only 2 points. They're still right in the match, and they've got to be happy that they're only 2 points behind right now.
Steffes had 2 complete putaways for points missed earlier, and there's another bad play. So now the sloppy volleyball, Whitmarsh and Steffes, and you said it, you know, good teams can sense when they've been given a break, and that's exactly what Loiola and Emmanuel are doing here.
And this is a poor pass by Ken Steffes, which leads to a poor set from Mike Whitmarsh, and that's 2 passing errors for Steffes on this side.
And mentally now, Whitmarsh and Steffes are in the toilet. I'll tell you that right now, as dialed in as they were defensively at the beginning, they've lost it.
Well, we spoke earlier that they have a little trouble with their communication in the middle serve, and here it crops up to bite them again. And Loiola and Emmanuel right back at the in the match 4-all.
And isn't it ironic that, again, we witnessed it in the semifinal, teams scoring on the bad side in bunches?
Well, we're here in such a cozy little venue here at the Del Mar racetrack, and I think the grandstands are creating different wind conditions, and maybe that actually is the good side, even though the wind's at their back.
Could be. As we take a Swatch Sand timeout, one more time next weekend, all you great fans in Michigan, it'll be the final stop, the Tour Championships. MD, in fact, is going to be down there all week long, meeting you folks.
Doing a lot of clinics, and a lot of different volleyball promotions, and it is a great area for beach volleyball. We've been going to Grand Haven, Grand Rapids, that area on Lake Michigan for a long time.
And we'll be there again next week. Come out and say hello and see great volleyball, the Tour Championships. Falling back, but cutting it down to the sand against Steffes.
And you see Kent give a couple of hand claps and kind of get to his partner and say, come on, let's get back into this. We had some easy points we let slip through our fingers. Let's get control back in this match.
Steffes and Whitmarsh, last one at Belmar back in the middle of July. They've hit a dry spell since then. They beat Johnson and Curai back on July the 19th in Jersey. Whitty, up, down.
And that's a nice side out for Mike Whitmarsh, taking that extra step to pass that middle serve. That's what he and Steffes have to continue to do. Don't get burned in that middle area of the court, and that's a nice pass there for Mike Whitmarsh.
That's exactly where they're serving, too, and they'll continue to go there. A touch by Whitmarsh. Initially, I thought that was a miss by Emmanuel.
The ball was out of bounds, but just off the block of Mike Whitmarsh. Both the up official and the linesman calling the touch. No argument from Whitty.
Now we're settling into a side-out war. Now they go sideline, so mixing it up from the middle to the side. And Whitmarsh a little extra oomph on that big frame of his, and Loiola, no chance.
Loiola with a great cross-court serve. Whitmarsh passing the ball, getting up, and this ball is right in Loyola's breadbasket. Look at him, he's so upset. He goes, I have got to dig that ball, and he's right.
Loiola will get an opportunity to strut his stuff. Oh, behave. Look at that cut.
So much talent on the Brazilian team. Emmanuel giving Loiola just a perfect set. Doesn't matter if it's the big Whitmarsh, Brock, or anybody. That is just a smooth cut shot cross court.
Great stuff. Tough to do. Makes it look easy. Steffes right down the line with authority.
A lot of sloppy play at the beginning of the match. Two great teams starting to settle things down. Steffes just ripping this ball down the line. His shoulder is perfect.
15th anniversary of the AVP this season. And Mike Whitmarsh serving has had his moments. Emmanuel can cut with the best of them, too.
So you see Loiola just cutting the ball sharply cross-court. Emmanuel says, well, I'm going to top you.
Exact same.
Just a perfect, within the 3-foot line cut of his own.
Jose. Good eye by Steffes. A little help from Whitmarsh. And Kent will serve.
From Pacific Palisades, California, behind UCLA. Emmanuel
up. Steffes committed awfully early that time, and Emmanuel was able to make an adjustment.
And Emmanuel takes that little look as he makes his approach. You're right, Billy. Steffes left way too early toward the line. Emmanuel seeing that with the easy loopy cut shot cross court. You've got to hold your ground on defense.
Yeah, something we talked about extensively when we were in Atlanta. You might recall Brent Frohoff. He likes to commit very early in the back defensively.
Well, the players are just so good now at taking that peek. So as a defensive player, you really have to wait until after they take that peek. Finally, eventually, they're going to have to take their eyes off you and on that ball to make the spike, and that's when you've got to make your move.
There's a short serve I think we should see more often. And Loiola, though, says it doesn't make any difference. Bang! Right down.
Loiola mixing it up well, going sharp cross court. Then on the next play, this one's high, deep cross court, keeping the defense guessing.
Still 4-4. Both teams with a couple of mini runs in this one to get to where we are. Loiola, another service error, and he'll take a little walk and get ready for Kent Steffes to deliver. Out of UCLA, calls Pacific Palisades home. And he certainly has some support here in the crowd here today, too. That's on top.
Brazil is calling for a touch. The ball was set very tight from Emmanuel. Loiola trying to save it, knock it off Whitmarsh's block. Referee sees no touch. Ball's out of bounds. Point for Whitmarsh Steffes. They'd been stuck on 4 for a long time. They needed that point.
And it's 5-4. That was really in no man's land for Whitty. Do you go? Do you touch? Is it coming over? And he just said, I'm not gonna fool with it. And Loiola put it out. That one's tight too. Again, Whitty gets a hand on it. Chance for a point. Up and Loiola keeps it alive. Great play. Short. Whitty. Steffes. And a net violation.
No, the referee is calling a lift on Kent Steffes' shot over the net.
He's calling a lift.
And we got to take a good look at this replay because I think there might have been 4 contacts on the previous play by Brazil. Whitmarsh knuckled the ball over, and Brazil might have touched this ball. Now here comes Steffes. It's tight. Whitty knuckles it over. I think Emmanuel touched that ball. If he did, he would have to go over, and this was their 4th contact. And it's a tough game to officiate. That ball's flying around. And there's the play that Greg Krause calls the lift on Kent Steffes. He kind of slapped at the ball with an open hand.
And stuck on it a little bit too long.
Boy, regardless of the plays, that's just great action, great athleticism all the way around.
And a little anger in that swing from Mike Whitmarsh.
And speaking earlier, you saw the profile on Whitmarsh. He is a young player as far as years played, even though he's older at 35. He has not been playing this game for a long time, and the more he spreads the ball around on siding out, the better he gets. And there's another tight set for Brazil. Loiola in the net, and it's ball control that's causing Brazil problems right now.
And it results in a point, and 6-4 Whitmarsh Steffes. We're getting jiggy in Del Mar, and we'll be back with more after this. The break here, 6-4 Steffes and Whitmarsh on top, and the last stop of the AVP Tour this season comes up next week. It's the Miller Lite AVP Tour Championships from Muskegon, Michigan. We'll be there. Hope you are too. August 28th through the 30th. For more information, call Ticketmaster. I suggest you do it now. 616-846-7160. The final place to party in '98, the 15th anniversary of the AVP. Emmanuel cut, but reading it. Steffes unable to get it off the net, though, was Whitmarsh. Boy, another compliment to his pounding. Emmanuel with the soft shots right there.
And Kent Steffes had a beat on that one. I've never seen Kent so animated. He's getting so upset at his errors. He had a good chance for that ball defensively. He's taking his hat off. He's slamming it around. I think he really wants to get back in the winner's circle. He and Whitmarsh had a tough tour in Europe. They haven't felt the victory for a while, and Steffes really wants it.
You know, as we said, it was feast or famine when they came and hooked up on tour earlier this year. Steffes again got it. They were taking either a 9th or a 1st. It was either all or nothing
Their
for
first 6 tournaments, they took 2 firsts and 4 9ths. And then they went on to take, I think, a 2nd in Europe, and then they took a 4th. And now they're back in the final, so they're starting to find that consistency. But Steffes wants to win.
Oh, Steffes was there again in perfect position. Planted, cemented in. and unable to control the big spike by Loiola.
And that is just impressive side out. You've got the biggest block in beach volleyball up there. Jose goes up, over, and with heat, catching Steffes off guard. That is an incredible spike.
Plenty of velocity. Now the tough serve by Emmanuel, dipping down, and Steffes the good pass. And it results in a side out. Now remember, if you're just joining us, Cards Karai Adam Johnson did not participate in the tournament. Adam Johnson pulled out earlier in the week with back spasms. He was here though, brought his, one of his kids brought his daughter down and got some treatment on the back before departing. Whitmarsh. Wow, off the flesh.
And that's one way you fight that short serve from Whitmarsh. Set your partner on two. Loiola going over with authority. And that's a tough break for Karch and Adam. Geez, they won 3 tournaments in a row. Adam with the finest serving performance I'd ever seen in volleyball last weekend. The injury, Karch is going to have to wait another year unless he wins a couple FIVB events to get that record.
Or maybe he'll have a couple of tournaments in his backyard and he'll count them.
I doubt that. And there's the frustrated Ken Steffes. This serve is not that difficult. Loiola just cuffing it to him, and he overpasses for his 3rd passing error that has led directly to points, easy points for Brazil.
And he made a couple of hitting errors on missed points opportunities. That was a decent play, though. And that's an acute angle.
And that's what every great player does. He took the easy serve, he lost his concentration, he gave Brazil an easy point. Then he takes Loyola's best serve, passes it on the dive, and rips the ball across court. And the great players make plays like that. They don't let little mistakes nag at them throughout the match. They forget about it, come back with a great play the next time.
Good dig by Steffes, but I'll tell you what, that was a good set by Loiola. He was right there by the net, had to be wary of netting, and put it right up there where Emmanuel could slap it home.
And then Emmanuel rips it right at Steffes. Steffes is playing great defense from a position standpoint. He's right in perfect position to make almost every play. The balls are just kind of ricocheting off his arms right now.
Whitty with nobody up. Emmanuel's going to have to dig, and he gives up at the last moment. Otherwise, he would have been a part of our commercial board over there.
Here's Loiola with another patented drop off the net. Great left-hand stab. Emmanuel just not quick enough to get to that ball.
Quickly serving and swinging now Loiola. And he finds deep corner. The stadium setting here at Del Mar Fairgrounds, right next to the racetrack. I wonder how our daily double is doing. First race should be over by now.
Hopefully we're still in it.
Hopefully. Steffes, no touch. No touch. And we're tied at 6. We are tied at 4. We're tied again here at 6.
Ken Steffes is going to wipe off those sunglasses and try to settle things down. I've never seen him make so many unforced errors this early in one match.
At least in a final. Who knows what's happened on the outer courts in the earlier rounds, but when it really counts, when he rises and lifts his game to that other level here on center stage.
And you know, it's so tough, Billy. It's a long, hard season. This is the next to last tournament for the whole year. And it's tough. You can see the frustration. You got players with little nagging injuries. That's a great jump serve for Steffes.
And a bad set by Emmanuel. Can Steffes convert? That time he does. Emmanuel just couldn't get him up there. He knows it's his fault, too. Loiola tried the kick save to keep it alive.
And Ken Steffes serving this ball with such velocity, it gets Brazil in trouble right away. Loiola having to pass a high spinny ball, and like you said, Emmanuel not giving him the best set on that.
Steffes leaning deep into the court to serve that one. Off of Whitty again. The Swatch clock at 3:25, so we're past halfway on the running clock.
Very interesting, and what you find with two great teams, Billy, no one's given up points in bunches. Every time there's a mental mistake, there's a point given away, the players are bouncing back on the next side out and getting the ball back.
Steffes crawling back. Down the middle. Witt was off the court by the time he delivered that set. And Steffes turned and banged it down the middle, and that's where you go when you're in trouble. When in doubt, right down the middle.
And this is just a great individual effort for Ken Steffes, not only putting the ball away there, but taking that extra step and passing the tough Emmanuel serve in the middle of the court.
7-6, Whitmarsh and Steffes lead. Side out, Emmanuel and Loiola.
And what is scary news for the rest of the world and the rest of the AVP Tour is that Emmanuel continues to get better and better on the right side. You got to realize he's only been playing the right side now for 6 or 7 tournaments. Been left-sider his whole life, and he's going to continue to improve and continue to see the court well on that right side.
Backing up defensively as he had the notion on the offset. But enough on that one that Steffes will get it again.
And here you're going to see this set well off the net for Ken Steffes. Just a great rip down the line, Emmanuel unable to control.
Mike, as far as talents and what you have to do on the court, what's the difference between left side and right side? We'll get into it right after this, and then what maybe you have to do a little bit better on each side. Emmanuel right in there.
And that's a great set by Loiola, setting Emmanuel up off the net. And it's not so much the different talents you need to have, it's just you see the ball from different angles. And that's what it takes time to get used to, is the ball is coming at you on the, as a right side player, you have to let the ball cross your body before you hit it. As a left side player, you hit it before it crosses your body. It creates all kinds of different angles.
Steffes, there's the hat, off again. We should be keeping count of that. That's probably the key stat.
He's just a frustrated guy. I mean, it's torn, it's a long season. He really wants to win. He's playing good in respect that he's always in the right spot defensively, but he's just making a lot of unforced and uncharacteristic errors for Ken Steffes.
We are tied again at 7. This is the Sun-Kissed Open at San Diego, more specifically Del Mar. Emmanuel, Steffes, digging lights that time. Loiola again. Just a little pop over Whitty. Steffes working hard in the back.
And just a frustrated Ken Steffes. Again, perfect position. You've got to control this ball and keep it on your side of the net. That's why Ken's frustrated. He passed the ball, unable to control back for a free ball for Brazil, and it's another side out.
Whit, set, hit, Loiola in the stands.
And that is patented Ken Steffes hard cross court. And the good news for Ken Steffes is, gosh, you're frustrated, you're making a ton of unforced errors, but here you are, it's 7-all. You're right in the match, and you got to forget about those plays and move ahead.
You know, just as interesting, that's exactly what the Brazilians were feeling at the beginning when they were making the mistakes and they were still in the match. Steffes not even close with that serve. Looking around into the stands, hoping to find the magic formula somewhere to get his consistency back. Emmanuel Rego. 7-all. Emmanuel knew it was coming, just couldn't get there.
Emmanuel made the right move defensively. Steffes just was able to get up high and put a little bit of extra pace on that shot down the line, keeping it out of Emmanuel's reach.
Here's Whitty. He moves so well for a big guy. Former basketball star. He took away line, gave him angle. Unable. Steffes, no chance.
I think Whitmarsh gave away just a little too much line on this. He reaches way over, leaves all the middle of the court and cross court open, and that's too much room for Jose Loiola.
That one out. Steffes will go back.
A lot of missed serves, Billy, a lot of unforced errors. I think that's a sign that there's a swirling wind, that the players aren't really able to focus in on how the wind is blowing on each play, and it's kind of throwing them out of their game.
And there's another missed one, that one's short. No tempo at all. No flow to this game, and consequently, the crowd hasn't really been able to get into it either. It's just been a game of more mistakes than great plays so far. And we're tied at 7 in the championship. Whitmarsh. Dug by Emmanuel. We'll get another side out. Whitmarsh, of course, schooling here locally, just as my partner Mike Dodd did at San Diego State, although when he went to university, UC San Diego.
And there's the perfect position again, unable to control defensively.
Loiola chops it down, puts the side out.
Both teams in a good rhythm siding out.
Still our score.
You're right, Billy, though. It's a strange match. It's been a match of errors. It's been a match of really no team seeming comfortable out there. They both seem to struggle, not sure of themselves offensively or defensively.
And neither team coming up with big blocks so far, and they're each capable of doing that. Emmanuel, their coach Jimmy Menges, scrambling to get out of the way. One of the greats of all time, and in his familiar position now with Emmanuel and Loiola. There's Jimmy.
There's a good shot of Jimmy the Ming. He's got to remember, when he gets out of the way, he's got to grab those chairs, too. Give Emmanuel a little more room to try to make the play.
Jimmy was flashing some of his talents in a little celebrity match. Dane Selznick was also one of the former pros who were out there earlier today. Another cut. You know what I'm saying? No big blocks, and blocks can really get you going. Whitty's got, what, maybe one? And
Whitty got one block early. You're right. No big blocks and not a lot of aces.
Yeah.
And that's usually the big point-scoring plays that you see in beach volleyball these days.
Mike Whitmarsh with the attack. 7-7. And we say this because the clock is almost definitely going to be coming into play here. We're under 2 minutes already at 1:58.2, and we're not even halfway to 15. And these two teams are side-out machines.
And there again, a nice short serve handled by Brazil going over on 2 for the side out. That's the way you fight the short serve.
Next point will take a turn. Loiola. Whitty again. Boy, if you're Jose Loiola, you see it coming. You know that he's turned his body, but you just can't get over there.
And Billy, the critical time of matches, you never know when it's going to rise. I think it's right now. The teams have been stuck on 7, going back and forth. I think the team that breaks through here, gets that 8, might go on to the victory.
See if they can get on a roll. Whitty, a point? Hit the antenna. He hit the antenna, too. We're going to take a quick break. 7-7. Loiola, Emmanuel, Whitmarsh, Steffes locked up in 8, where we have made the stadium here for the AVP stop at Del Mar. They have the hospitality area up in the air-conditioned comfort, and a part of the sun-drenched crowd enjoying themselves, as we hope you are wherever you may be. Coast to coast on Fox Sports Net, I'm Bill McDonald. Mike Dodd alongside. 7-7, and the players welcomed that last time out. Steffes, once again, out of the reach of Emmanuel. 1:38 on the Swatch clock.
Another nice look for Steffes down the line, just out of Emmanuel's reach. Side out after side out. It's getting down to the wire. The team that gets the next point is going to break through.
We're in search of some energy for one of these two teams to get them in bunches like bananas here and pull away a little bit.
Well, back to serve.
Here's Loiola. Little cat and mouse situation now with the clock.
And there's you see Jose Loiola, usually a player that's so animated, a player that gives so much to the crowd, gets him revved up, waves his arms around. And that's what happens when you've got an injury. You lose your focus. You're not entertaining anymore. You're just trying to survive out there. And I think that's one of the reasons there's not a big connection right now between the players and the crowd. They're just trying to get through this match.
Emmanuel, though, pounds that one down. Yeah, Loiola has... The streak is monumental right now, whatever it is. We have been on 7-7 for quite some time. And still waiting for a side change. Sorry, MD, at 8-7.
Who's going to break the ice?
Tough one. Whitty. Steffes, ice broken.
And our expert statistician, Matt Dodd, tells me that was 23 side-outs in a row. Whitmarsh and Steffes finally break the ice.
It's all in the family. That's why we bring your brother up here. We don't have to pay him. 8-7. Whitmarsh and Steffes. See you in a minute.
Now, up 8-7, and it's now up to Emmanuel and Loiola to come back. Keep in mind, however, when these two teams met 2 weeks ago, I should say, in Europe in a final, Emmanuel and Loiola came back very late in the match.
Thank you, Craig, and the support of Miss Hill, Sharon Hill. And there's her son, Mike Whitmarsh. We haven't heard Sharon really catcall him yet. She can be heard, though.
That's a big side out for Emmanuel, coming back, getting the ball back for his team. Down by 1, and here we are with just a minute left to play.
1 minute 8 seconds plus. Loiola. The approach. Great serve. Absolutely sensational stuff. Dip down away from Witt, just over the net. Ace.
This is just a great jump serve, short, cross court. The ball just falling.
Screwball.
Over the net. Bottom just dropping out of that thing.
See if he goes middle. Now back to Witt, middle. There, got it. Yeah, down the middle. A little more towards Witt's side, but that middle has been a problem, and another ace. And well, the side change works wonders. They lead now 9-8.
And psychologically, what a tough situation for Whitmarsh and Steffes. Stuck on 7 for the whole match. They finally break the ice, get that 8th point, and then they give up 2 straight.
Whitmarsh leaps to get that one. Loiola digging. Steffes. Loiola digging. Emmanuel appeared to get caught up on the tape.
There you see Ken Steffes saying, I really dodged a bullet on that one. That was a big break for Steffes and Whitmarsh, because Steffes goes over on 1 after the Loiola dig here and hits it right to Jose. And fortunately for Steffes and Whitmarsh, Emmanuel tripping over on the sidelines, but that would have been an easy point opportunity for Brazil.
2 wonderful plays by Jose Loiola defensively. They refix the line. Loiola the bump. Emmanuel cutter right there.
And that's a great shot for Emmanuel. And you see Jose Loiola saying, way to save me, buddy, because Loiola was yelling, corredor, corredor, which in Portuguese is down the line. Luckily for him, Emmanuel, not listening, cuts the ball across court. Big side out for Brazil.
You know a lot more in Portuguese?
I didn't know my share.
You know it. The worldly MD, Mike Dodd. Now they should take advantage, Whitmarsh and Steffes, of that service error. 49 seconds remaining.
Steffes and Whitmarsh having a little meeting of the minds back there in the back line.
Well, they cannot get down by 2, or they could see the clock expire on them. As long as it's just a 1-point game, overtime is a possibility.
And there you see a frustrated Mike Whitmarsh. That was a low inside set by Loiola. That's the ball Whitty's got to press over and roof, and Emmanuel just sliding it under his arms down the line.
Jose, there's that serve again. He has burned Mike Whitmarsh a couple of times. And now, what a position for the Brazilians. Just 41 seconds remain, and they have a 2-point lead at 10-8.
And if you're Whitmarsh and Steffes, you've got to realize that 41 seconds is still enough time to make some plays. Remember, they only need 1 to push the game into overtime, and there's plenty of time. They've just got to settle down and side out that ball. What for super time and a fitting in to a long, tough season for the AVP players.
This team of Emmanuel and Loiola looking for their 3rd victory together this year on this tour. A block, but into the net. And now in dire, desperate need of at least 1 in the next half minute. And Steffes.
And this is a big side out for Mike Whitmarsh, just chopping it through the Emmanuel block that was off the net. Emmanuel's got to press over on that block.
Finally, the crowd gets behind, and it could result in a point.
Again, Kent Steffes with a great jump serve, setting that play up. Emmanuel unable to control the set. The ball drifts over the net. You're going to see Whitty hovering and just knuckling it down. And that was the big point you were talking about. Ooh, might have been a tad over.
He was a little over, not just a tad.
Well, Whitty's from Del Mar, so what's that, the hometown call there? He got away with 1 on that one.
Home cooking.
They've got a side out, though. That's the key to Whitmarsh and Steffes.
Under 30 seconds. Whitmarsh. Bang. The bomb. From the big fella. 9-10. The serve upcoming.
Here you're going to see a nice rip by Whitmarsh. Spreading the court out. Going for that cross court. Emmanuel unable to control.
Looking right up into the sun. A perfect set from Emmanuel Rego.
And this is the combination that's been given Whitmarsh fits. Emmanuel at the net, Loiola up there. Got to side out the ball. Critical right now. 22 seconds left to go.
A point could mean victory for Loiola and Emmanuel, and once again trying to go to that short side. Loiola
trying to pull the trigger one time too many, I think. Out of bounds.
Here comes Kent. Down by a point. Finals at Del Mar. Loiola must deliver. Boy, Kent just tried to hack it back at Whitty, who did touch.
And there you see the frustration. That was an easy play for Kent Steffes. Whitmarsh coming up with a great soft block off his arms. Steffes just trying to jab it at the ball. That's a ball you've got to at least hit over to the other side. If not, just get up in the air. Give your partner a chance to take a swing at it.
15-1 on the clock. And going for an ace. And to basically end things, Emmanuel. But still in overtime mode, just 1 point apart at 9-10. And Kent wants to towel off.
Little line adjustment here. The wind's starting to pick up a little bit. And you can't fault Brazil's strategy. Their jump serve is what's gotten them back in the match. 14 seconds left to go. You're up by 1. You're siding out good. Go for it. If you get that team in trouble, you get the extra point with time running out. The clock becomes the big factor.
Steffes again was there. Into the seat, second row.
And there is a frustrated Kent Steffes. Again, he's moving great on defense. His footwork is phenomenal. He's in the right spot. You've got to control that ball, though.
And that's a word you have used quite often, and rightfully so, frustration. What is that, 3 service errors in a row for Loiola and Emmanuel?
3 in a row. That one was a lot closer than the other 2. Whitmarsh taking a big sigh of relief over there. And here we go, 6 seconds to go. It's looking like we're going into overtime, Bill.
It's basically an overtime situation here. Loiola. Steffes is there. Whitmarsh. Kent, middle. No, he did not go middle. He went angle, and it fooled Loiola.
And you see Steffes giving Whitty the double fist point. A lot of release there for Steffes. He's been frustrated. He needed that dig. He needed that play.
Oh, yeah. He went right behind Loiola. Bang, 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 bang. Overtime. See you in a minute. Turned into an exciting one. That's Team Whitmarsh and Steffes. Their respective girlfriends were up there in their little 5 feet. And how about this? Kent Steffes comes right back off of the break with an ace. And here we go. They have a championship point staring them right at the face. 11-10.
Billy, is this volleyball or a prize fight? You got Brazilian knocking Whitmarsh Steffes out, looking like they're going to take control. And then the big comeback for Steffes and Whitmarsh.
They must convert Emmanuel over Whitmarsh.
Kent Steffes just frozen in his tracks, looking for the big cross court from Emmanuel. Emmanuel with the soft little shot over Whitmarsh's block, side out.
We're in overtime, must win by 2. Clock is off. Whitty cranks. Got it. Championship try number 2 coming up.
Nice smooth side out for Whitmarsh Steffes. Whitmarsh going high, deep middle cross court.
Looking to close it out. Emmanuel. Fly swat attempt by Steffes, but Emmanuel, 2 great shots under pressure.
25 years old, the youngest guy on the court, but a world of volleyball experience for that young Brazilian. Great player, great in the clutch.
With the specter of Mike Whitmarsh bearing down on you on the other side of the net. Steffes touch, that'll work. Using the block.
So Brazil tries Whitmarsh, no avail. Then they go to Steffes. Good siding out for the Americans. Whitmarsh trying to get his homeboys pumped up, raising his arm, saying, "Come on, let's give me a little something here."
Let's see if Kent goes to Loiola. Well, that was the intent. The execution wasn't nearly what he anticipated.
Just off 5 or 10 feet.
You're kind.
You got to regroup. You got to regroup.
At 10-11. Steffes. Got it again.
There you see Kent urging his buddy Whitmarsh on, saying, "Come on. I waffled that last serve out of bounds. You come give him a floaty and go up there and give me a big block for the match."
Opportunity. Loiola versus Whitmarsh. Block! Out! Just out. How does a ball like that go the length of the court and miss by an inch?
And there you see Whitmarsh. How close can you be? Nice shot of Mike. He went up. He did everything he could do.
Actually, it draws a laugh and a smile from Jose Loiola. He knows it should be over. Absolutely should be over. Jose doesn't take advantage. He's beside himself right now. Well, really, we were all sort of sleepwalking through the first part of this, but an exciting finish to this final at Del Mar. Can Whitty do it again? Yes!
There you see some relief players, Billy. Mike Whitmarsh, Kent Steffes. It was a long tour in Europe. It's been a long month without a victory, and they needed it. They wanted it, and that was a nice stuff block from Whitmarsh to set, so it was too tight from Emmanuel. Brazil's ball control let him down in this match.
And the standing ovation, the roar of the crowd from the Del Mar faithful. Steffes and Whitmarsh in OT with the big stuff block. They're the champions. See you in a minute. California, the sun-kissed AVP Open.